use the microphone. Oh,
A messy campus lunch, a charcoal desk, half-empty coffee cups, and textbook litter the table. Sam is aggressively scratching on the large pad, the charcoal snapping under too much pressure. Alex is flipping through C.S. Lewis' The Great Divorce. Every college student has a room like this, heavy with the scent of stale coffee. Okay, start.
Hey Leon, how are you doing?
Okay, Mom, just
What happened?
it was a swap by exam and a lot of stuff. Mom, I will send you something.
Where are you right now?
So right now I'm at the studio of the class. I'm a bit tired.
You know why I called you, right? Have you looked at those transfer applications I applied you? The deadline for engineering department is Friday. You know how important stability is? Especially these days. Why are you still focusing on the arts degree? It's just not practical, you know?
Stop it, Mom. We already talked about this several times. I'm tired of this.
We have talked about this 3 times this week, Leon.
Please stop. I just don't know what to do.
Sam, do you think this arts degree is going to pay your bills? Do you think I want you living paycheck to paycheck wondering if you can afford groceries? I'm just trying to protect your future.
What's the point of you trying to protect my future if I'm not happy to do it? Stop.
You know I love you. As a son, I'm trying to protect you. But you know what? Let it be.
Wait, Mom. My friend's calling.
I'm hanging up the phone. You decide your future.
Alright. Thank you, Mom. I love you. Say something.
You did rising. You defend your soul. Attack Steve's God.
That was intense, but no, at least the expectation is clear. No more passive aggressive text. The cards are finally on the table. Of course, defending your soul is the easy part. No, Sam actually has to build a life with it.
Okay, that's all.
So that's all for our drama. So now let's introduce our topic. It's about love and relationship, love, control, and possession in human relationship. It's presented by me, Gea, Leonard, Gary, and Luisha. So first, we're gonna talk about the types of love. It's possessive. We're gonna skip this part because we already did it last week. So possessive love, the autonomy of alienation. Possessive love, ego changing versus human dignity. Possessive love often disguises itself as a commitment. Lewis suggests that by choosing to own our partners, we actually alienate them. Instead of making them feel free, we just treat them like an object. This, as a result, it's not very good for us to treat them as an object. The psychological core by Julian Bratter, locus control. Possessive behavior stems from extreme external locus of control because the controlling partner feels internally powerless over the anxiety. They desperately attempt to control external variables, their partner's time, social circle, and privacy to force an artificial sense of security. Thus, this as a result makes the partner feel more superior and makes the other partner more inferior. possessive love is not healthy. Next slide. So the manifestation of relational pathologhy. For example, this is what happens in a possessive relationship. There's surveillance, restriction, erosion of boundaries. So Stephen Hayes, acceptance and commitment therapy. This behavior pattern is a classical case of experiential avoidance. The possessiveness partner cannot tolerate the psychological discomfort of uncertainty, so they destroy their partner's autonomy to suit their own temporary panic.
Smothering love, which is a possession. Smothering love, which is making sure the other person is dependent on you, which is not a healthy love. Based on Lewis, we just learned that the mother is trying to make sure that the child is dependent on the mother, which is not love. It's basically wanting the other person to need you, and it is not healthy. And also, when you try to make sure that they are in your arms, to make sure you can feel comfortable, you are resisting the other person's growth, your partner growth. Okay, it can be anyone. It can be the mother to child or partner. So it is about flourishing and outgrowing together. So do not mistake possession for devotion, because when you basically love is a devotion where you give without expecting something in return, but possession, no. So first, in flourishing love, we encourage independence and we celebrate each other's growth, and we will also let go with love. And as I already mentioned, the mother loves her son in a way that she wants him to need him. She wants him to need her. So basically, making sure she's in a delusion, and she prefers him dependent, and that is not love. So smothering love is a flourishing love. So it's basically like you don't want your partner, they have to stop changing, stop growing, and basically they don't have an identity. We are all growing, we are all having identity crisis, like we are trying to figure out who we are. So in that case, the mother should give the child the independence that the child is supposed to get, so they can identify who they stand, where they stand at in this huge world. So yeah, it's basically driven by abundance, and it should be you basically encourage your partner to be independent. So based on this book, Aristotle says that virtue is an active habituation or not an accident emotion. So basically what I'm trying to say here is you have to choose your partner's freedom over your insecurity or your own validation daily. So there are 3 types of attachment styles. I've already discussed about this earlier in this class. The demo is already done with the professor. I hope professor. So basically I called my mom, and then she was very anxious, like, oh my god, what happened? And I called some other person, and we try to understand what type of attachment style they are, so that we can handle the relationship very smoothly. So now,
Okay, guys. So we have already see the text message. So now, yeah. So I will just talk it briefly about the previous slide, please. So you can see, like, for example, the first one is the control response. Is someone like they don't want to hear your reason; they just want to angry. While the second one is try to understanding. And we will move to the next slide, please. And then from the text message case study, we want to show you ASK framework, or you can just say S framework. So if you receive a toxic message like Where are you? Why haven't you replied my text? Who are you with? Screenshot your location right now. Actually, rather than doing this kind of message, you can just do the ask framework. First, unload the impulse. So basically, you understand you're in the middle of the panic. You want to know your partner location. You want to know that he is safe. You understand the emotion. You turn it down. You don't need to be angry. And then space creation. How to the space between stimulus and response from Viktor Frank and Stephen Covey. Okay. So when we anxious about something, in a lot of time we think about the scenario that we have in the mind. Like, if she doesn't reply my message, she must be with other man. Or if she doesn't reply my message, she must have an affair. That's in my mind. That's maybe not the truth. And if we try to think everything must be like on mind, rather than knowing the truth and giving her space or chance to explain, then it's nonsense. And for the last one is candid communication. For basically, it just say, take your time, hope you're having fun. Let me know you are free to catch up. You're giving her space, you're giving her communication. You don't need to give her like silent treatment. And next please. This is the example of the real case that happened to my friend. So she having a boyfriend, and it's a controlling one. And when we hang out together, the boyfriend often asks, "Where's your location? Who are you with?" Asking to send the photo, asking to send the location. And when we move to other place, he will call and ask, "What are you doing in this place? Are you going to something bad?" And of course, it's ruin the mood. And next, we have like quotes. Oh no, it's not quotes. So technical control, surveillance as emotion armor. Focus heavily on the physical implication of modern software. Find my price with 366. Okay, so basically, my friend explained.
So for this one, it's about the digital control surveillance as emotional armor. Like what Leon said just now, it's about for example, having a partner who's constantly surveilling you or your parents. Like maybe some of you guys experience oh, where's your phone? And then they add My Trackers app on your phone. So this is the psychology behind it. Focus heavily psychological. This is what they did. And for the this digital tracking turns surveillance into a cheap artificial substitute for authentic vulnerability. When we are constantly demand a partner coordinate, we treat them as a trackable assets rather than a human being. It acts as an emotional armor that protects our ego from having to build actual hard-earned relational trust. This is very bad in a relationship because it shows that you don't have trust with your partner at all. Thus, as a result, you're constantly, or you feel inferior compared to them, or you feel like you cannot control them. Thus, as a result, you just constantly want to know their location, what they do. It's very not good as a relationship. This one we talked about it last time. Flourishing requires the other person. Okay, this was talk about. One is it healthy versus controlling. So for the time, respect personal boundaries. If it's healthy, conflict focus on the issue, emotional, the other's growth. Possessive control demands constant access, focuses on me versus you, my own comfort versus security. So this is a maths on how to find out if you're in a toxic relationship or not. It's autonomy A times trust B insecurity divided by insecurity C.
Okay, next I will talk about the summary of interpersonal destructiveness. Wait, I don't remember it. No, I forget.
The summary of the interpersonal destructiveness is basically, the toll on the control. It can be chronic stress, diminished self-efficiency, or the erasure and the identity. So this is what Lewis says: to love all is to be vulnerable. You shouldn't be like, oh my God, what happens if I show my weak side to someone? Are they going to take advantage of us? No, that's not how it's supposed to be. Just because you got hurt by someone, it doesn't mean that you have to lock yourself up and not show yourself emotionally to some other people, because not everyone in this world are the same one. So you have to be vulnerable and let it go.
Okay, this is the right slide for me. Okay, so first I want to talk from the Bible perspective. Love is not about ownership. So the scripture says in the Bible, from 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4 to 5, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor other, it is not self-seeking. It means like possessive love is self-seeking. And Paul defined that if you literally condemn control and restriction. And from John chapter 8, verse 36, if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. This shows that biblical love is rooted in freedom. Even God does not possess, give us the beloved the right to walk away. And this is connected to C.S. Lewis' security force. Like in the scene, like Mr. Plum refused to let go of her dead son Michael. The angel tells her, he is not yours in the way you think. Lewis echoes Paul, love does not seek its own, possessive griefs become a help.
So for the Confucius belief, from Analect 15.24, do not impose on others what you yourself do not want. The Confucius Golden Rule condemns digital control, monitoring, and restriction. If you hate being tracked, do not track. The Analect 12.1 by Ren, to subdue oneself and return of prosperity is benevolent. Possessive love is the self-expanding into the others. Ren requires restraining the self for the others. This is especially the case between the mother and the son that was said on the play just now. It was more towards possessive love rather than care. The C.S. Lewis, the four love, Lewis needs love versus give love maps directly onto Confucius Ren. Need love, I need you, therefore I love you. Give love, I love you, therefore I set you free. Ren is give love. Control. So what we learned from the sculpture and Confucius reveal about control. Control is not love. Sculpture and Confucius agree.
So first we saw the Bible text, and now we also wanted to connect with the Taoism, right? So based on the Tao Te Ching, chapter 8, the highest good is like water. Water benefits 10,000 things and does not compete. It dwells in lowly places that men disdain. Possessive love competes, it demands, it tracks, it restricts. Taoist love is like water, gives without demanding. It's basically like when you try to catch water, do you think you can catch the flow of water? Of course not. That's how it is. Basically, you're not supposed to do eros romantic love and do charity. Do not expect anything in return. So yeah, that is what he is saying. And based on the Tao Te Ching, chapter 44, fame or self, which matters more? Great attachment leads to great cost. So we saw about different attachment styles, basically like the anxious attachment. The more you grip, the more you lose. Both avoidant and anxious styles come from over-attachment to an outcome rather than flowing with the relationship. So this is why we say, go with the flow. Next one. Tao Te Ching, chapter 16. Return to the root is called stillness. Stillness is called returning to one's destiny. So
based on this mothering love that we saw before, it refuses the stillness. It cannot let the other person to return to themselves. So first you need to give the independence for them to find themselves out. So that is what she rages because her son has grown beyond her grip. Now she cannot be like he is dependent on me. The next one is based on the four leaves. C.S. Lewis says, the source becomes demonic, the affection becomes demonic when it turns possessive. Affection produces a kind of indifference to the beloved real interest. Possessive is a dangerous type of love, and you just like the feeling of love, but you don't love the person. So do not fall into the loop. So this is what they are saying. True love acts without clinging. It lets what is natural be natural.
So the next one that we'll be talking about is love without chains. What Krishna teaches about devotion versus possession of my Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Keep on messing that up on practice. Sorry.
Guys, it's Bhagavad Gita, okay?
Okay, so for C.S. Lewis, the four love. Lewis distinguished romantic love from charity. Eros, wherein it becomes a god, destroys. The Gita chapter 32.7 and Lewis lead love are identical. The ego that claims ownership of love is the ego that destroys it. Affection produces a kind of indifference, beloved a real interest. So for chapter 18, true surrender, abandon all varieties of dharma and just surrender unto me. The Gita, surrenders is the opposite of smoothering. It is releasing beloved to something greater than yourself. For C.S. Lewis, the ghost who cannot enter heaven because she needs to be needed. Lewis' mothering mother is precisely who Krishna addressed in chapter 3. She has been made herself the adorer, the owner, the sender. Krishna says, let go of the fruit. Lewis says, flourishing requires the others to go away from us. So the next one is about chapter 2, verse 47. It's about Nisma Karma. Is it? I'm sorry, I keep on spelling it wrong. The next one is chapter 12, which is about verse 3.40. Proprietorship. Sorry, I keep on messing. One who does not think himself a proprietor, free from false egos such as devotee is dear to me. Krishna explicitly condemned monitoring call, checking location, limiting friendship. Do not think yourself as a proprietor. Chapter 3, verse 27, the false ego. All actions are performed by the modes of material's nature, but the fool who is deluded by false ego thinks I am the doer. Possessive love is the false ego of ownership. The partner who monitors believes they belong to me. Krishna calls this an illusion. So based on Bhagavad Gita, flourishing love requires the other person to grow away from us, not into us.
All right, welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're diving into Boomish.
So for the personal story, so first for the biblical text, we try to incorporate the three types of religion into it. First, Christianity and Christianity, Taoism, and Hinduism. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough time to study Islam, but yes. So
all right, welcome back to The Explainer.
yeah, this
Today
is my
we're
personal
diving
story.
into Boomishal's hilarious, totally self-deprecating, and highly relatable coming-of-age story. It's called Eagle Beta Version, Finding Freedom in Taiwan. It is this brilliant, tech-themed look at what it takes to find yourself as an exchange student when your original operating system was just absolutely full of bugs. Let's get right into it.
Wait, actually, before we even hit run on this analysis, we've got an emergency pop-up. Boomisha has a very important, totally not threatening public service announcement for us. June 16th is her birthday, and if you don't wish her a happy birthday, well, the AI takes over. Consider yourselves officially warned. So, she's turning 21. Now, in most of the world, 21 basically means full independence, right? But in her family's operating system, yeah, that translates directly to still way too young to make your own decisions. Okay, let's jump straight into section 1, the glitch. System error in chicken version 1.0. Growing up in India, her parents basically ran the perfect base level hardware. Food? Check. Education? Yep. Roof over her head? Absolutely. They provided absolutely everything a kid physically needs to survive. But here's the glitch, when it came to actual emotional support, her loading bar was painfully, and I mean painfully, stuck at like 3%. She was left just endlessly buffering, searching for emotional guidance that simply wasn't loading into her system. Because her parents essentially admin controlled all her life choices, she formally adopted this amazing title, the CEO of Seeking Validation. I mean, she needed absolute approval for everything, from what major to study, right down to what color her socks should be on a Tuesday. So, with a super restricted social firewall back home, she kind of had to build her own friend circle from scratch. Up first, books. Always a solid choice. Followed very closely by her second best friend, endlessly binge watching YouTube. Friend number 3 was literally artificial intelligence. Now everyone totally expected her to become an AI professional because she loved the subject. But the thought of actually working a boring 9-to-5 tech job, she said it made her soul literally leave her body. She just pictured herself slowly disappearing into a spreadsheet. No way. And finally, wrapping up the squad, a healthy daily dose of pure, unfiltered delusions. We've all been there, right? Because of all this, her entire romantic and emotional life was propped up by people who didn't actually exist. We're talking 100% of her emotional well-being carried entirely by fictional characters. And when she did stumble into some real-world romance, oh boy, she completely bypassed actual dating and went straight for her PhD in overthinking. She had a crush on a guy who wasn't ready, so rather than going out, she just studied the situation to death in her own head. Which brings us to section 2, the Taiwan reboot. So her old rules dictated asking, what color should my socks be? But then she moves to Aisha University. Suddenly she's surrounded by diverse cultures actively telling her to explore and just live a little. Her brain completely blue screened the concept. Her reaction was literally, wait, we're allowed to live a little? Thank goodness her roommates Ambar and Nellie stepped in and initiated the roommate adoption protocol. They effectively put her on a metaphorical leash. They had to constantly remind this 21-year-old adult to do basic human tasks like eating, sleeping, and drinking water. And honestly, she completely admits she needed the reset. All right, section 3, uninstalling the hero complex. For years, her mental troubleshooting process was basically a 3-step disaster. Step 1, encounter a problem. Step 2, have an absolute emotional meltdown. Step 3, sit back and wait for a magical future boyfriend, or potential candidate, as she jokes, to just arrive and rescue her from her own life. But then, a major software patch. She read C.S. Lewis's The Great Divorce, and it sparked this massive realization. She realized, love isn't supposed to be a cage, it's freedom. Love is actually about letting people choose their own path, not making your entire universe revolve around waiting for a savior to fix your bugs. Moving right along to section 4, upgrading to Eagle Beta. So what's her current status today? Well, she's actually out there busy building real-world experiences. She's taking on research fellowships, letting go of that need for absolute control, and finally doing the hard work of repairing her relationship with her family so she can truly stand on her own 2 feet. She has successfully evolved. She literally upgraded from the V1.0 chicken, confused, running in circles, and constantly screaming internally, into the strong, independent She-Hulk Eagle Beta version. She's finally forced quitting all those old mental tabs of overthinking and stepping up to be her own hero. By learning to be her own hero in this incredible explainer of her life, she leaves us with a pretty great question. Everyone's got their own struggles and crazy plot twists. So what does the beta version of your own life look like? What outdated mental bugs do you need to uninstall today? Keep your own systems updated, embrace your personal plot twists, and whatever you do, seriously, do not forget June 6th.
The reason why we chose her story in particular is because this the story aligns well with our topic about the love relationship because like she's currently struggling with that particular issue. Yeah, so love is not a state of feeling, but a state of will. Yeah, remember that.
Here's the conclusion. First is a relational audit. Identify who you are substituting digital surveillance, locating, tracking, monitoring active status for real, memorable conversations. It means not to use some digital material like a cell phone to try to control your partner. Give him or her some time or some space, and let him have some time or have time to do their own things or think about themselves between your relationship. And next one is ego de-escalation. The next time a relational trigger occurs, apply the SK framework to handle the anxiety internally rather than projecting it onto your partner. In my opinion, you have to put yourself in your partner's shoes. In order to get the real idea, you have to know why your partner was thinking like this, and after that you can solve the problem. After you can solve the problem with the competitive. And next one is a freedom pledge. Commit to celebrating your partner's independence, growth, hobbies, and friendships. Actively practicing the Aristotelian virtue of ego. I think you have to let your partners go. For example, your partner have some dream or some target, like he or she want to have some happy. Like he want to dance, or want to do something, or to finish something, and you have to let them go. Because if you keep controlling him or her, I think it's not a good thing, because you can't usually it's not I think anyone without someone is not I think anyone is not necessary for someone, so you have to let him go and support their dream. Here is a state where everyone is perpetually demanding their own rights and trying to govern the others. Heaven is a state where everyone is actively surrounding their ego to allow others to flourish.
So before I finish, I want to take a moment to thank our professor personally, because this course gave me something I did not expect. It gave me the beginning of faith, the Bible verses you taught me every day after class. Yeah, it was sincerely opened something in me that I know that didn't exist before. And based on the proverb 4:23, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. So I came into this semester avoiding guarding my heart, but now I mastered it. Thank you, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you for your attention, everyone. Love is a deep emotional connection. So the question we have for everyone, we've seen how digital tools like Snap Maps have normalized monitoring in the name of caring. Given the science of happiness, how can we use digital tools to increase trust and social awareness rather than using them as a source of insecurity and control? That's a very deep question. Thank you.
I think let's have 7 minutes, 7 or 8. Come question or answer this.
If you have any questions, you can ask.
Also, if you want to ask any question, feel free to do so.
Comment, question.
Anyone? I'm
Yeah.
guessing Marco wants to ask questions.
Oh no, I want to answer your question.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Oh, I don't need them. I don't
Okay.
need them. Mike. Thank you. I appreciate it. No, I would like to express it. So I think as Snap Maps this feature of knowing the location of maybe a close friend or maybe a family member, I think as like other tools we use nowadays like AI or even Microsoft Word, like we need to have more responsibility to it. I think these tools are really helpful, especially if you're a parent and you want to monitor your kid, like where they are, like are they home from kindergarten or something like that. So I think the main thing is responsibility. I think is important, and also awareness and like some information that we can learn about a particular tool, so that people like there's less friction in which people can use that tool in a bad way or misuse it. Yeah, that's just my thoughts.
I agree with him because there are moments in the Philippines, because as you know, Philippines is not as safe as Taiwan. So basically, it's like when my sister is like going to work, and especially when she's coming back from work in our home, she would send me her location. Like I'm never gonna ask her to send her location, but it's like, you know, a sense of safety for other people that someone knows where they are, especially for girls. So I don't think it's a big deal to say that like this type of tools are yes, of course it is misused for many reasons, especially in like romantic relationships. But I believe that these tools are just tools, and we can use it in a better way, in a safe way.
Yes.
Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
I have a question. I don't need the mic. I think I'm loud enough. You've mentioned that possessive love is highly deceptive because it disguises itself as genuine commitment and intense care. On a daily relationship basis, however, how can someone distinguish between a partner who is just deeply protective and caring versus one who is starting to exhibit subtle controlling behavior?
Okay. So actually, regarding that question, we talked about it in one of the slides. Sorry.
Um,
Sorry. Yeah, you can.
So you want me to distinguish between the partner who's possessive, who's trying to exhibit a little bit of control over the other?
Yes, one who is deeply protective compared to one who is kind of showing subtle
Over
controlling
control.
behavior. Yeah.
Okay. So as Precious said, like basically when you talk about love, it is giving freedom to people, right? Freedom to each other so they can grow. But there should be few stuff that has to be made, for example, for safety, for showing that you care. Let's talk about the Kay Lewis mother and son relationship. So just because the son needs freedom, it doesn't mean that the mother has to give freedom, like 100%, right? It has to go from level 1 to level 2, it's just there should be a small amount of control to show the protectiveness. For example, to make sure they are safe and everything, that comes out of care. Now that is alright in love, but it goes over, it is controlling, and it's basically when it goes like you have to say, who are you hanging out with? Is it a friend who is a boy? And limiting friendships, and there are no boundaries at all. And when you feel that your individuality, your freedom is slipping out of your hands, that's when you know that it is getting toxic. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Besides that, I may add that, for example, if your partner becomes way too invasive for your privacy, not letting you to go out with your friends just because the friend is a guy, and like constantly asking, can you please share me your location every single minute, and like also asking them to call you, video call you while you're talking to your friend. Yeah, that's what is really invasive one. not too much control. Next, anyone else?
Yuki, question, comment. Oh.
Question. If a relationship is already in smothering love, and if you think it can possible to transfer into flourishing love, or just give up?
Okay, to answer your question, I will first define what is smothering love. Is keep other people dependent, while for flourishing love, you try to make it grow. If you are stuck in smothering love, and usually this come from the parents, and the parents don't want to change, or at the first they don't know, but if they already know and they don't want to change, then it's hard to make it become a flourishing love. Because flourishing love and smothering love is not the same, because smothering love is more focused on make you dependent, while the flourishing love is trying to make you grow like a bird want to break free from the cage. And the fruit from that is different. Yes. Thank you.
Any other question?
Question
I was
from-
expecting for
No say anything.
She just arrived, she cannot be listen to the second. Okay, Ivy.
One of your bullets says true freedom equals true love. So can you guys explain how we can proceed give someone true freedom without making them feel neglected or unloved?
So you're giving freedom, but at the same time, I think can you elaborate your question? Like we give freedom what?
For example, to give someone true freedom while also protecting their the love, right? Like freedom can be restrictive, but like at the same time, if you have trust in your partner that your partner wouldn't cheat, thus as a result, it's good, right? That's when true freedom is there. But when there's no true freedom, like there's no trust in the relationship, why continue that relationship? Because that's what a relationship is about. You need to trust your partner. Yeah.
So yeah, you have to trust them blindly, okay? Trust them blindly. Do not ask any questions. But if you are in a relationship,
No, blindly, okay? No,
Be careful about blindly.
Yeah.
Be careful about trusting blindly.
Yeah, trusting blindly. Don't be like her. Don't trust blindly, guys. Don't be like her.
Any more quick comment? Quick comment. Quick one. Before break. Anyone?
I like the drama.
Yeah.
I felt the dialogue in my heart. Very good.
We try to use an example that is very relevant.
Yeah,
that's why.
I think it's really.
Also the way that you try to put Rumisha's like life reflection on this one is also really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. How you became from chick to better,
Ego,
better
ego.
ego.
Yeah.
I like the software aesthetic to it, like the different versioning and stuff.
Yeah, it's good use of the AI, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
it
you
is good.
say
It
you
is
don't
good.
like to pursue further degree on AI as your father wish, but at least you learn how to use very well to portray your life.
Professor.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think as an exchange student, she's leaving July,
August.
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 Yeah. So 1 year in Taiwan. So I think this group, give her the portray at the end, the climax at the end about her life story. So I think that part is good. Yeah. And any more quick comments? Yeah, I think drama is good. They are all very creative and expressive. But in terms of team, I think Gary only one page is not enough because the slide.
We did the research together, that's why.
Yeah, then I would say maybe just submit 3 or 4 minutes video to complete. Yeah, there's some part that you didn't present. Maybe you, because I think in your early version of PPT, yours, but this new version, most of your part disappear. So I think for the for some requirement, yeah, maybe you can use 3 or 4 minutes video recording. Yeah.
Or can he present his part? Like the ones that were not presented was actually his part. Like this one was a mix of Leon and
Yeah.
Gary. The A was Gary, the B was Leon. Because some of the parts he presented it last week. And this one, the types of love. This one, yeah.
Last one seems very small part also.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not very in depth because like yeah, because he helped with the research as well. So yeah.
Yeah, but the 5 category, yeah, you at least you need to mention a little bit, yeah, like about the 5 category.
Or can you
So-
present about
But
this?
the timing, the 5 part. So yeah, I think we need at least 5 minutes break, and then let this group finish their presentation. And then if they finish, if we still have time, then yeah, if you want to cover up, then you may. Otherwise, I think the video done by AM is very excellent. It's very good. I think you can have a look. She